Hello friends, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new. So happy October. I know it's already halfway through October, but this is the first day of October in this video. I'm a little bit behind, but I've pretty much been vlogging every day, but I'm gonna combine it into like a week. So week 1, and then on Thursday I'll post week 2, and I'm currently filming week 3 right now, so I'll post that next week. I think I'm gonna be going thrifting this week, hopefully, so I might have that. So just waking up with little Marley. We usually cuddle all the time in the morning for a few hours, but I had a really big to-do list for this week because John's parents were coming to visit, and so he just wanted to get a bunch of things done. And his aunt and uncle were actually coming as well to visit for the day. They've never seen our house before, so I don't know, I think maybe other people can relate to this, but when someone's seeing your house for the first time, you want it to look really nice. So I just had a bunch of stuff I wanted to do. When I have a lot of stuff that I want to do like that, I usually put it on that pad that I just showed so I can look at the whole week, and then as I go, write things that I need to do on the day that I need to do them. So it's basically what I was showing there. So I was in the kitchen getting some things done in there. I'd gotten some groceries, I think, a couple days before, so still some things I hadn't put away. But while we were out, we saw these chips. I think I might have showed them in my last vlog, but these were a very popular chip, at least here in Canada, in the 80s and 90s, so our childhood. But then they stopped making them, maybe in the 90s, I don't know, I don't remember. But we saw them at Walmart. They're really inexpensive, but they are also really good. The chips are really thick, which I feel like chips have just, the quality has gone down over the years as the price increases. So I think for a regular bag of chips, it's around $5 or $6 here in Canada where we live. So to get those for $3 was a great deal. So one of the things on my to-do list was to get the downstairs grocery store straightened away. I had all the Halloween candy for the treat bags that we had bought, so I put it in this bag so that it would be all together when I was going to make the treat bag. So I'm just sticking that in the corner. I think I might make a separate video maybe about this grocery store because I always get questions about it. But yeah, I needed to straighten it up some, but I also needed to finish putting liners on it's wire shelving. So I've been using poster board, and then this, I think it's actually meant for your fridge. So I wanted to finish doing that. And then John had bought, I had wanted to get a second sheet. So I was giving that a wash. And then while that was going, I did end up finishing all this, and I felt so good after it was done. It was just one of those things that I had been putting off doing for a while. So John had brought the Halloween bins up so that I could decorate for Halloween because it was October 1st. These 2 bowls are what we use for Halloween. So we usually fill one with treat bags, one with chips, just keep refilling it. So we actually get about 100 kids here. It's pretty crazy. And then that bag was filled with things that I put outside, but I don't usually do that until Halloween day, really. But I don't have a ton of Halloween stuff, so I usually just add it to the fall decor that I have out so that I can kind of just enjoy both of them. And then pretty much right after Halloween, I take everything down and then I start to decorate for Christmas. I know it's really early, but I just want to enjoy it as long as possible. And once Christmas is over, I just feel like taking it down. So I know a lot of people leave their Christmas decorations up until the new year, but I don't really enjoy doing that. So I don't have a ton of Halloween. A lot of it, at the very end of the video, I'm going to show you everything set up. I didn't really film too much of myself setting it up. And then we realized that John actually had bought the wrong size sheet. I didn't notice. So he ended up going out and getting the right size. So now he has an extra sheet and I have one. for dinner, I'm just having one of those little snack trays that I've been eating of like raw vegetables and tofu. But every night we've been watching we've mostly been watching Creepy Cinema because I still had last year's Creepy Cinemas recorded. So we were like waiting for the new one to start, which is like on TCM. It's so good. So good. We've been pretty much watching those mostly. With some other movies sprinkled in, but that's pretty much what we do like while we eat dinner, and I've been enjoying it so much. Marley looked so adorable in her little ball with her face kind of smushed into the blanket. So cute. So I've been making some progress on the list. This is the next day. I don't really like worry too much if I don't get everything done on the day that I write it down, just basically as long as everything was done like before John's parents got here on Friday. So I'm just working away on that. So I had washed the sheets. We hang our sheets on the line, but it had been raining, so I just sometimes will hang them over the doors so that they'll dry. But I really wanted to wash this duvet cover on the bed, which is like the worst thing, getting the duvet off and then like having to put it back on. It's like probably the chore that I hate the most, but I do like the way it looks. So, I mean, I guess I don't hate it that much. So my goal was to get that started early. I had hung John's sheet up over his bedroom door there. So I got that started in the wash and then cleaned the kitchen, got all the dishes put away. I love that feeling when the whole kitchen is like perfectly clean, but it wasn't perfectly clean because I needed to clean the fridge out, or I wanted to. It's not that bad, but I like it when it looks a lot better than that. And there were some things in there I either needed to toss out or use up. So these apples we had them in there for a while, so I really wanted to use those. So I decided to make an apple crisp with them. It's very fall, so I did that. I really should have had more apples for it, and then I just took a little bit of leftovers and I made this like chicken salad, but it's made from tofu. Put cranberries in it. It's like one of my favorite ways to eat it, but I think I just ate it with some crackers. Like I didn't have bread. Also, these apple slicers, I swear by these. It makes cutting an apple just so quick and easy. I had broke my old one that I had for like 10 years, so I had gotten a new one and I was happy about that. I decided to try making it with coconut sugar. Coconut sugar is probably one of my favorite sugars to use, like instead of brown sugar. I feel like it's the most comparable. I do like date sugar too, but I ended up like messing up the proportions on this though. And then I realized when I took the butter out that it was hard, that I was gonna have to wait on that. So I just continued on with what I was doing. I did all the dishes from all the things that I'd cleaned out, and then I just put all of the stuff that I needed to use up within the next few days kind of there where I could see it. So I was happy with getting that done. And by that time, the washer had stopped, so the sheets were ready to get put out along with the duvet. It was a nice day, but it was like a little cloudy, but not rain cloudy. And then while I was out there, I thought I would show you some of the garden. I just did it in like containers, like on the deck. So that was the pumpkin I grew. And then this is like a raspberry plant. We actually bought this when it was super, super tiny, so it's grown a ton. And I'm not sure what to do, like if I should try to plant it in the ground or not. And then this is like, I grew like cucumbers and beans in here, but obviously this is like later in the year. And then this is like butternut squash. And some grew, but we have like raccoons, so the raccoon, I actually grew a couple of more pumpkins, but the raccoons, like I said, they were like having a carving party. Anyway, I came back in and the butter was soft enough for me to use. So after I peeled my apples, I decided to make a simmer pot because I hadn't made one in quite a few weeks. And one of the things that my mom and I used to do, we'd take like you know, apple peels or like orange peels and use them. I just added some cloves in there with some cinnamon sticks, and this made the house smell so good. I couldn't believe how much the scent went completely through the house. It was days later and we could still smell it. And so I just saved the rest of them. This is something else we would do. And I put it in the freezer to make a simmer pot at another time with. It's like a good way to use up, you know, what would otherwise be like discarded things. I mean, fruit is really the only thing I think I can recall us using, like that you'd want your house to smell like. But like orange peels and apple peels were definitely, actually lemon peels too, we've used before. So it was the afternoon time, which is when I usually just take a break. So I was making myself a coffee. I had hung out the sheets and I had some apple crisp. Even though the proportions were messed up, it was like, it was fine. Marley was being so cute laying in here on the sheets. But normally she's always like in my room on this chair, so I usually never get to use it. So I took this rare opportunity to have my coffee up here, and I usually watch General Hospital when I take my break and have a coffee or tea. So I was like, oh good, I can sit here. But I knew as soon as she saw me getting in the chair and I put the blanket over my lap that she would come running, which is super cute. She loves that, but she's usually sleeping there, so I don't want to disturb her. But she's super cute. One thing though, like about her getting older, she's actually, today is her 19 and a half birthday, is like how much she hesitates when she goes to jump up, which obviously when cats are younger they don't do that, but I've never had a cat that's lived this long, so it's just very interesting seeing her in that way, because she used to actually jump quite high. She still does jump a lot, but I just noticed she's like hesitant, like she's doing right here. She goes to the vet every like 8 weeks or so though, to get like a shot, like a steroid shot. And the vet actually, like, he kind of gives her like a mini physical every time, and they can't believe that she's as old as she is, but he's always surprised that she still has as much muscle mass as she does, because that's like, I guess, one of the main things that happens when cats get older is they lose their muscle mass. So he's impressed with her. We had a nice time though, chilling in the chair together, but now it's the next morning, so it was like 4:30. Usually get up between 4 and 4:30, usually make a coffee and then just hang out with her in here with the light on. It's the only way that she'll stay calm and not wake John up, so just kind of hang out there for a couple hours and then can get up. She was being so cute though, so I got up, made my smoothie, and got back to what I needed to do. So I was putting all clean sheets on the bed and then putting the duvet cover back on, and I had washed all the blankets too. I always talk about how the quality of things have gone down, and this is the perfect example. I thought about it when I was doing it. This comforter, which was only probably $20, maybe $25, I actually bought in 2004, so 20 years, possibly the very beginning of 2005, but I think it was 2004, so just like a cheap comforter, but it is in amazing quality. Like, none of the stitching has come undone at all, and I feel like that happens to every single comforter I've ever bought since, but for some reason, again, this is like 20 years ago, it's not that long ago, it's remained in perfect condition. And it's not like it was expensive. It was definitely not expensive. It was like $20. It's all I could afford. But anyway, that goes inside along with another blanket, like another thin one. I like pinned them together to make a thicker blanket. But that getting that duvet cover back on literally took me like a half hour. I was sweating from doing it. And John was working, obviously, so he was like, I could have helped you. I was like, yeah, I don't even know how much help you could have been. It's just so difficult, but I finally did it. It's not the kind that has like any kind of ties or like buttons or anything, so just, I don't know, makes it difficult, but I got it done, so that was great. I was taking, John's parents were going to sleep in this room, so I was getting it all ready, even though they weren't coming until the next day. Marley, of course, she's like, oh, a clean bed, let me just come lay in here. So I got the whole room ready and cleaned, and then John was just gonna sleep in here with me. I was also changing my sheets too, but I brought his charger in there and like anything else that he would need, and I just put it over on the other side of the bed, so nobody usually has to go over there. But we were moving the chair downstairs as well, because so I got all of that done, and then I just moved this chair here in place because Marley sleeps there, so I didn't want her to feel weird. I don't know. But then I noticed after I got my bed all clean and made and everything that she had found that too, so it was very cute. But we moved this chair, the bigger chair downstairs, so that we would have more seating. So now we're out grocery shopping, and on the way in I noticed this really old car with a cool color. So yeah, we're going grocery shopping. We just needed to get a few things, but we could not get that cart to come free one-handed, so I grabbed this one. Just I wanted to get a fruit tray and a vegetable tray for when John's like aunt and uncle were coming to visit for the day. They were coming at like noon time, and they were staying in a hotel that night, but they didn't, like, they had a dinner reservation for like 7 or something, so it was like we should get something to have. And I was gonna make tea biscuits as well to go with the fruit, but I had a little mishap with the tea biscuits. But they have these fruit trays that are $14, which isn't too bad, so I just tried to find the one with the like furthest out date. So we ended up getting one of those and a vegetable tray. And then the grocery stores don't always have like fresh Brussels sprouts, but usually around Thanksgiving they do, and Thanksgiving in Canada is in October. So I saw those and they were massive. One was like almost the size of my hand, which is crazy. So anyway, I didn't get any, but I do love fresh Brussels sprouts roasted in the oven. They're so good. So we got home with all of our groceries. Marley was happy to see us because she's not used to being home by herself very often. So I'll show you what we got. We didn't really get a whole lot, but we did get more of those like chips to have as snacks for like company. But these cashews I got, which I got these at Walmart, and I usually just always like to have a nut tray. Those cashews were such a hit. I'd never had them before. In fact, John's aunt and uncle left our house and went and bought some at Walmart. They were asking if there was a Walmart near, so they went to get them, and then John's parents bought some as well to take home. But I just got some sugar-free cookies, and I also got these sugar-free chocolates. I usually get these, John's dad doesn't do sugar, so usually get those, and the cookies were a hit, but then I got something for John to have because the cookies are not vegan. We drink a lot of like tea and coffee, so just to have something. And then those are the nuts that I got. They sell the plant-based macaroni and cheese craft. We call it KD in Canada, or craft dinner. And then I got some macaroni. John was gonna make a goulash, which is what this Impossible beef is for as well. He was making a goulash for the day that his parents came, and he used some of this cheese for that too. And then I just got some produce, like for salads mostly. We got some of these Beyond sausages because his parents really like those as well. And we got some of these wedges as an easy side to go with it, and they were also so good. I got some of this cashew dip to go with the vegetable tray. Like, it came with something, but it's not vegan, so like we couldn't eat that. But like our company ate it. And then I really lucked out. I found this tray with walnuts, almonds, and dates in it for 50% off, and I needed all 3 of those things for my pantry, but I always reuse these kind of trays, and this one is like perfect for filling with nuts, so I was able to fill up what I needed in my pantry and then also reuse the tray with nuts. And we just got some plain like white bread. His parents aren't really big on breakfast, but like we thought maybe toast or something would be good, but they don't eat like the kind of bread that I would eat, so we just got white bread to be safe. So this is where we put the chair. Marley was like, hey, this is my chair. So she always sleeps, but we just put it next to the brown one that's always there, just as like a extra seating. We're like definitely not used to having more than like 4 people, so 6 people. But then it's like people can spread out a little. So anyway, I filled up the chocolates in the dish. His parents usually sit in those 2 chairs there. Riley is so cute. She likes getting up in your lap, but only if you put the white blanket. So like we always joke about it. So that's why there's one upstairs and one down here. She will just sit on the floor looking up at John until he puts the blanket over his lap. But I filled up the little dish with chocolates, and then later I found her upstairs sleeping in this chair, which made me happy because I wasn't sure like what she would do because she's so used to sleeping in that chair. So I tried to recreate it with the same blanket and everything there, but she was fine. So then it was nighttime, and I was just waiting for John to come in. Oh, John was sitting in the chair. But we were curious about how she would react to John being in there too, because she's used to it just being us. So she was just laying in his spot. And then before I went to sleep for the night, I just watched an episode of General Hospital. I've been watching episodes from the 90s, like from 92 lately. So it's the next day now, the day John's parents were coming. I find that like 90% of the time when I'm cleaning or cooking and stuff, I listen to the 80s channel on Sirius. It's just so good. But I got the nut thing all squared away, and I tried, at this point is the first time I tried one of those nuts, and I was like, yeah, that is actually really good. I'm assuming they would sell them at all Walmarts, and so I was gonna make tea biscuits to go with the fruit, and then I realized I didn't have any shortening. So I was like, oh crap, but I remembered I have some Bisquick in the basement. I have it like from doing like a vintage recipe thing that I never posted. I still have the footage, but I don't know, I felt like it wasn't good enough. I don't know. Anyway, I was like, wait, I can make biscuits with the Bisquick. And then I printed off the recipe for the easy goulash that John was going to make, which was actually a really big hit. I did have a bite of it because it wasn't gluten-free. And then for lunch, I just made John this quick little mini pizza. My biscuits, they just came out like way too dark and hard. So I don't like, I think I made it one other time, but I just had a salad myself. And so I didn't really film when John's parents were visiting or anything. I just didn't want to do that. So I thought I would just show you at the end here what my like decor setup was. So I got these pieces from Michael's a few years ago. They kind of had like a vintage look to them. They had a bunch of stuff, so I went a little crazy, but it was during one of their sales when it's like buy one, get one half off. I don't have a Michael's like anywhere close to me, so I don't really go there often. So when I saw all that stuff, I just was like, oh no, I need to get it. And so these were from that same line. I think this is maybe like 3 to 4 years ago. So I just put those 2 little jars there. And then out here, I just added some Halloween stuff to what was already there. I'm not 100% happy with the way that it looks, but I also was like, done is better than perfect. That's something I need to tell myself a lot. I just wanted to like get it done and not spend a week agonizing over if it looked good or not. So I just went with it, and this is my favorite thing that I got that same year was these 2 blow molds, a cat on top of the pumpkin, and then there's a little like pumpkin man. I can't remember if they had other ones there, but part of me wishes I would have gotten 2 cats because I love them so much. And then the pumpkin I just had there for fall, but I just added this little, I want to call it a snow globe, but it's not really Christmas, it's Halloween, but same type of deal. It's just little black flecks, these two cats on a bench, and it actually plays music too. Plays the Ding Dong, the Witch is Dead from Wizard of Oz, so love that. And then in the hall I just had this little thing on the door, and that little sign, which was in the entry, but I moved it. And then I have like a fall wreath that I made in the dining room. I just have this little, like the vase is there all the time. I just put some fall florals in it. And then at the table, I just have these fall placemats, these chargers, and then the plates are actually just paper. I just have been reusing them for, I don't know, 5 or 6 years at this point, I think. I just like the way that it looks. And then the salt and pepper shakers, those were new like a few years ago. And then I just have a couple of pumpkin things in there, and I just stuck these little things here. They're like little cardboard things. I think you'd have them like in your classroom in like the 80s. Like we had stuff like this in my classroom when I was growing up. But yeah. And then in the basement, I brought out like all of the movies that I'd probably maybe want to watch during this season and put them on the bookshelf. And then I put the 2 little boo pillows that I found finally on the couch down here because I felt like they matched with the kind of orange and brown. And I hung some orange lights over the picture, which I think I'll do the same thing with Christmas lights. I really like having these lights on when we're down here watching movies. Just, it's a very cool vibe. And then this electric fireplace, we actually just bought this from Marketplace for I think $40 pretty recently, so we've just put it here. I love it. It's super narrow and tiny, so it fits the space really well. So I just have another one of those pumpkins up there with some lights and leaves in it, a couple of little plastic pumpkins, and then the mummy, which I've talked about this before, but I had given this to my mom like a long time ago because I called my mom so, and like just as like it was very inexpensive, and she kept it like all those years and like had it out like year round. So when I was cleaning out her apartment, I had to keep it, but I just put it out at Halloween because I think it might make me sad if I had it out all the time. But I have some battery operated tea lights down here, and then just a couple of pumpkins kind of in front of the TV, and those are like on a timer. Same with the candles in that little candelabra. And then on the coffee table, I have this candle which smells amazing, so good. These candles are so much more inexpensive than the ones I normally buy too. And then just a pumpkin, and then this little acorn-shaped dish there. And then over there, we just have some nuts. And then a few weeks ago, I had bought these gull canisters. So I just put some Halloween candy in there, and then some mixed Halloween candy in the bigger one. But overall, I've been really liking it. This is pretty much where we always watch movies, so just kind of nice. I didn't really spend a whole bunch of time planning and thinking about what to do. I just was like, I'm just gonna do whatever comes to my mind first and then be happy with that. So anyway, thank you so much for watching. That was the first week of October, and like I said, I'll post the second week on Thursday, and then I'll be caught up currently filming week 3. So anyway, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you again soon.